Hello and welcome to a special episode of TWE Meets. I'm happy to be joined by ITV Racing and Sky Bet ambassadors Ed Chamberlin and Oli Bell.
Special,
lads,
Special.
How much are we looking forward to this 2023 festival?
Doesn't get much better, does it?
Can't wait. Favourite week of the year.
Is it?
Genuinely, yeah, I love it.
Okay. Yeah, I love it too. It's brilliant. And this year we need it because it's been a stop-start season. All the headlines recently have been negative about the sport. But now all of a sudden, hopefully, we're going to absolutely fly for 4 of the best days in sport.
Well, let's hope so. Obviously, like you just touched on, we've got the whip bands, we've got all that. But hopefully it'll all be about the racing. And obviously, we've got to mention about the big offer we've got on ITV7. Obviously, you're wearing the jumpers, lovely,
Proudly.
representing. ITV7, obviously, they've got a huge jackpot to give away this year, over 1 million in total.
Good, isn't it?
I'm sure you'll know this is ready. But Tuesday, £100,000 jackpot. Wednesday, £200,000 jackpot. Thursday, £300,000, and then £500,000 on the Friday.
You can only enter once. T's and C's apply. Over 18. We're quite well drilled in the ITV7. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's brilliant, though.
And obviously, it was won twice last year, and you two have both met both winners. I think it was Liam won £100,000, and then Jordan took home £500,000, the biggest ever winner of the ITV7. Obviously, you both met, but Ed, what did it mean to them to obviously win that? Obviously, it's got to be one of the best days of their life, isn't it?
It was fantastic hearing their stories, really. Both so down to earth, weren't they? Just delightful people that show, the important thing is with it, is they show people at home that it can be done. And they're humble and so excited about what they'd achieved. I mean, Jordan winning 500 grand, what a lovely fella he is.
Yes, I actually saw him and his family in Chesterfield the other day. We did a piece.
He hasn't changed a bit, has he?
No, he's such a nice bloke. And actually, one of the horses that he won the ITV7 with was called Mr. Nice Guy. And the reason he put it in is because everyone calls him Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh, really?
And the last horse that won it for him was Billaway in the Fox Hunters. You remember? I mean,
What a race!
we watched it back.
How did that win?
We watched it back with Jordan, and every time I watch it, I still don't think Jumping the Last Hill ever win the ITV7, even now. And he won the tiebreaker as well, so he had it winning by a neck, which meant that he got the whole jackpot as opposed to splitting it 14 ways. And I met him, his brother, his mum and dad, and they are the most humble, lovely
girlfriend
family. Yeah, and they're. He's going to buy a house with the money. He's going to stay working in the post in the Royal Mail in accounts there, and it couldn't be a more deserving winner of the ITV7.
I remember interviewing him. We went to Chris Gordon's yard, which is quite close to me. And I said, what do you want to do with the money? He hadn't mentioned the house at that point. He said, the one thing I want to do is buy a car. And I'm thinking, cracky, what's he going to get? Bentley, Porsche, Maserati. He said, I've always dreamt of having a Volkswagen Golf.
Hey, to be fair,
Other good cars are available.
it's quite a souped-up Volkswagen. I saw it.
Seen it? Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah, he's a legend.
But
It's so nice to meet them.
It just shows, if you're watching at home, people like him, it could be you. Well, to use the Anton Deck phrase, it might be you, which is great, which is what the ITV7 is all about. We want everyone having a go.
And he knows a bit about racing, but there have been winners that are sort of picking it on names, colours.
You go out shopping and don't realise what's happened.
I have no idea. Come back and they've got 50,000 or Cheltenham much bigger jackpots in their accounts. So you don't have to be a racing aficionado to win the ITV7. And as Ed says, we've proven by meeting these people that anyone can win it.
Exactly, and like you said, anyone can go and have a go, can't they? Anyone can go and win it. You don't have to like racing. You don't even have to watch the race if you don't want. You've got to check what you've done after. So yeah, like you said, brilliant stories. And like you
Met a
said,
Southampton fan the other day, poor man.
Is this unrelated to the ITV7?
No, he'd been. I meant these Southampton fans.
They exist.
No, he'd won 50 grand. Improved life with your team virtually bottom of the Premier League. Yeah, he'd won 50 grand.
Good on him.
Nice guy.
well, really good stuff. And hopefully, what we're going to ask of you two now is going to try and help everyone who's watching to try and get a bit closer to winning it. Obviously, we're not going to go through every race at the Cheltenham Festival because we'll be here all day.
We have done this. We've given a week or so ago. I think I've probably changed most of them now.
The double.
No, not the double, but my ITV7 selections. You know what it's like? You listen to someone else and then I keep changing my mind. But I'm very, very confident now.
Well, like you said, we were talking, weren't we, before, and obviously all the preview nights are going on. You hear little nuggets off different trainers or obviously different people in the sport. But now I want to know exactly what you both think. So we're going to start. We're not going through every race. We're going to start with the Supreme.
Sky Bet Supreme.
Sky Bet Supreme, yes, well mentioned. Obviously this year, it's a bit more wide open than we probably thought what it was going to be at the start of the season with Facile Vega bombing out at the Dublin Racing Festival. We've had horses like Constitution Hill, who got backed off really all day, didn't he, into 9 to 4, went on to win it, Appreciate It, was obviously strong in the market. This year, Facile Vega again, he's going into what, 9 to 4, 2 to 1. Are you with Facile Vega or were you going to take him on?
No, I'm against him. even though when I interviewed Willie Mullins a week or so ago, I asked him for his one horse for the festival, and he said Facile Vega, and I'm like, oh, goodness me. No, I just couldn't back him after his performance at the Dublin Racing Festival. He stopped that day, and you're taking a giant leap of faith. But you're taking a leap of faith with arguably the greatest national hunt trainer there's ever been. So I think he'll be well backed on the day. I wouldn't be putting in my ITV7. For me, it's a choice of two. Marine Nationale is very well fancied, the Barry Connell team. And I think if it was good ground, I might just side with him. But I think there's rain forecast now. And it's a wide open Sky Bet Supreme, but I don't think it's a great edition of the race. And I'm going to go with the Tolworth winner, Tamuras, if there's some cut in the ground. The form looks strong. The third and fourth from the Tolworth one at the weekend where we were at Kelso. And I think Paul Nicholls is going to have a good Cheltenham, actually. I'm going to go against the grain slightly and think the champion trainer might do all right this year. So I think Tamuras, the double picker price at the moment, would be my selection.
Yeah, currently around 10-1, isn't he? And like you said, Paul Nicholls, he has got some nice chances. Braveman's game, I think, in the Gold Cup as well,
I think
and
so.
Hermes Allen in the Ballymore.
Yeah, I think so. It would be good for sport in this country for Paul Nicholls to have a good week.
And the thing is, with the ITV7, it isn't all about all the favourites going in, and you've got to look at it from the odds at the side. If you do like that name, or if you have a study the form, you want to go for a bigger prize, that's what it's there for, isn't it?
I haven't got anyone called Tamuras in my family, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. It's free to play, that's what I mean. It's free to play, so you might as well go and have a crack.
Absolutely, that's what it's all about.
But yeah, Tamuras for you then at 10-1. Ollie, obviously we could talk about the Arkle and Champion Hurdle, but in the Arkle we've got El Fabio Jumbo at the top of the market. It's probably likely that the winner's going to come out of there, even though I think a few people have been talking about Dysart Donut, and obviously Champion Hurdle, you like to think that Constitution Hill's going to go and win for the British.
I think it'll be in 90% of people's list, probably.
Yeah, well, he's currently right 2-7, isn't he, in the market? So you'd like to think he goes and wins. So the race I want to talk to you about is a tougher one to help out everyone watching. It's the Mares Hurdle. And I think this year is probably going to be the greatest renewals of the Mares Hurdle we've seen for a long, long time, if ever. Obviously, Honeysuckle, what a story she's been, probably for yourselves on ITV and for the world of racing. And she's going to go for this race, actually 2-1, 9-4 currently in the market. But she's got to take on some very good horses, hasn't she? So who do you like in the Mares Hurdle?
Well, to be honest, I know that this isn't what you want to hear, but I kind of keep changing my mind in the Mares Hurdle.
But it's easily done. It's really easily done.
Because one minute I think Honeysuckle's the lay of the festival, then I think she's the bet of the festival. And I don't know what side of the fence I'm on, really. You can take two views with her. You could argue that she's regressed and she's nowhere near the force of old, which means horses on the up, like La Venvoir, Marie's Rock to a certain extent, if they go down that route, will get the better of her. Or you could argue that she's just running to her mark that she was running to when she was winning Champion Hurdles. If that's the view you take, then she's going to beat Epatante, who she's beaten in the past. She's probably going to beat Marie's Rock, La Venvoir, who haven't run up to that level yet. I think the more I think about it, the more I think Honeysuckle will have her fairy tale ending, not quite fairy tale ending in the Champion Hurdle, but in the Cheltenham Winners' Enclosure. I think she's run to a good enough level that the others have to step up. And whilst Epatante has not improved this year, but certainly shown she's still the force of old this season, I think Honeysuckle ultimately round Cheltenham over that trip will prove to be the best of what is a very, as you say, really good renewal of the Mares Hurdle. One horse who might just slightly slip through the net.
You're going to change your mind about four.
No. But I just want to alert people to Brandy Love, who got beaten going the other way around last time on... the horse. The horse. That's thrown me. I'm very surprised you know that.
You told me.
Anyway, good ground going left-handed will suit that horse better, and trained by Willie Mullins, you have to respect her. But Honeysuckle, for me, I think she deserves to go out a winner.
I think if she does win, that'll be the biggest ovation seen probably at a Cheltenham Festival for a long, long time. When it's likely definitely going to be a last run before obviously she goes off to stud. Ed,
yes.
Champion Chase on the Wednesday.
Yes.
Another open affair, isn't it, really? We've seen this season, Editor de Gite, Enegamine, Edward Stone, Gentle de Me, all come out and win races. Some of them all come out and lose races as well, taking each other on. Who do you like in this one? Because the betting's open, really.
Oh, I'm all over Edward Stone. I think Edward Stone will win the Champion Chase. Very decisive. I think Tom Cannon would ride the Clarence House differently if he had another go. He rode the race to beat Energumene that day. I love the quote. I think it might have been your interview with Alan King afterwards. He wasn't remotely disturbed by that defeat. He said, we've lost the battle, we'll win the war. I think everything that day went right for Editor de Gite. Everything pretty much went wrong for Edward Stone. I take on Energumene. I'm all in with Edward Stone. He'd be one of the first names down on my ITV7 next week.
Can I just say one at a big price who might be the forgotten horse, a horse who very nearly has won a champion chase?
Nueve.
Yeah. If it's good ground, don't completely rule him out.
I think on good ground, definitely, but the only worry is obviously, like you mentioned, there's snow in the air, sleet in the air, there's rain. We don't know how much rain there's going to be.
Edward's going to win. It's easy.
I'm with you. I really like Edward Stone. And he was lame after his last run, which I actually think make it even better how he finished, like coming out, because I like to think Alan King will get him right. So I'm with you on that one.
Well
but yeah, if it's good ground, Nubi Negri's record round Cheltenham's brilliant, isn't it? So he's got to have a big chance. Right then, another tricky one on the Thursday this time. And Ollie, will come to you first on this.
I like the tricky ones going to you. This is good.
Yeah. The Stayers Hurdle. Obviously, Blazing Cal's at the top of the market, but we don't know if he's going to turn up. We're going to find out Friday, aren't we? If he...
Ignore absolutely everything you hear about Blazing Cal's
I'm not sure if he told me today was whatever day it is, Tuesday, I'd still question it. Yeah.
But yeah, he's at the top of the market anyway, but you've got others in there like Tia Hoopu, home by the lead, 2 out of 2 this season. Marie's Rock could turn up here. We don't know what Nick Henderson's going to do yet. It's another open race. This race for me, it's full of absolute headbangers, isn't it? It's one of them that they don't really know what they're going to do until they turn up on the day. So all the best.
Thank you for this. Appreciate it. What I love about Cheltenham, generally speaking, is that, as you say, in the Supreme and other races, Champion Chase, normally we've been going there with short price favourites, and it looks sort of, certainly, if not banker material, match bets. The championship races, barring the Champion Hurdle, you can make a case for plenty of these, none more so than in the Stayers Hurdle. I'll just go through it very quickly. Blazing Carl could be anything, but have we seen enough of him to back him with confidence at that price? Not for me. Tiapu's a revelation this year. I'm not convinced he's top class. Home by the Lee has got the best and most consistent form this season in the staying division. The one horse who I fancy in the race is the forgotten horse to a certain extent. That's Flooring Porter. Cheltenham in March on what we expect to be reasonable ground is the absolute making of this horse. And when you look at the comments of his 2 Stayers Hurdle wins, both stay comfortably in them. He has been brilliant in that race in the past. And for all he hasn't fired this year, Gavin Cromwell absolutely knows the time of day with this horse. And I expect him to be the one they've all got to beat again. It's
a big price, really, 6-7 to 1 for a dual winner coming in the back of it again. And we know with that horse that he's a spring horse. When he gets to the Cheltenham, when he gets to entries, that's when he performs. A bit like Gentle to me. You got to disregard everything he does before Christmas time, really, before we get going. So I think for a race that's so tough, you make a very good case for a horse that's been there, done it twice. And obviously Danny Mullins, he knows what the ride he gave it last year off the front.
Just to slightly contradict your loudest cheer in Cheltenham history, if Paisley Park wins the Stayers Hurdle, that might rival Honeysuckle. And Paisley Park's obviously a big price. But there are some great stories in that race once again, and Paisley Park none more so than that horse. But yeah, the one thing I would say about Flooring Porter is he hasn't had quite as good a prep going into it in terms of his past performances as in other years. So perhaps he's not the force of old, but that's factored into his price, and I'm willing to take a chance.
Yeah, I agree. And Ed, Marie's Rock obviously could come here. If she comes here, she gets £7 allowance.
I don't think she'll come here if the weather forecast's right. They won't run her, even on good to soft ground in the Stayers, I don't think. I think they'd go mares.
Say, for example, if the weather's wrong and the rain doesn't turn up, and if she did turn up here, do you think 3 miles is what she needs?
I think she'd be okay over it. I mean, she continues to surprise us, doesn't she? I love her. I've always said, and I will keep banging that drum, the best horses should run the best races. The best horses should be in the championship races, which is why Marie's Rock, Champion Hurdle or Stayers Hurdle for me. She's so good. Let's find out how good she is. I think she'll stay. It'll just be on that ground. I'd be very surprised if the weather forecast's right if she went near the Stayers. I just can't see it.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, Oli, Paisley Park, I think it's my favourite horse in the history of racing.
In the history of racing? Wow.
In the history of racing, I think Paisley Park. Honestly, you talk to any of my mates, every time Paisley Park runs, he's my favourite horse.
That is a big statement.
Yeah, honestly. I've said it on other podcasts as well. I absolutely love that horse.
That's brilliant. Well, for you and for his sole owner, Andrew Gemmell, I'll be cheering. Yeah. I actually interviewed, the reason I said that is I interviewed Andrew Gemmell at Cheltenham and said one of the owners, and he didn't take kindly to that.
So you got in trouble for that?
Yeah, I did. Big trouble in front of the bosses as well. So.
Well done.
Right then.
Good luck to Paisley Park and you.
Yeah, thank you. So the last one, obviously, the Gold Cup, the big one. I want both your opinions on this. Ed, we'll start with you.
Okay.
Galloping Deschamps, top of the market, about 7 to 4. Obviously, he's a short price favourite for a race like this, but some see him as value because he's just that good. Are you with Galloping, or are you going to take him on a bigger price?
Oh, I wouldn't want to be laying Galopin Deschamps in the Gold Cup. First thing to say, this is a really good Gold Cup. I think this is the best. We've been showing the racing since 2017. This, for me, is the best Gold Cup we've had for a number of different reasons. You've got a potential star in Galopin Des Champs. You've got last year's winner, Rachel and Aplutar, who blew the race apart. You've got a fairy tale story in Hewitt, which we love on ITV, who cost 800 quid and is winning all around the world. You've got a strong home defence, Brave Man's Game, Ahoy Senor, Protectorat. That's a good home team. And the most important thing you've got on ITV is a big field. It should be a big field. Each way betting. Bookmakers go mad with places on the Gold Cup. It is a fantastic race. It's the race and you should be most excited about the Gold Cup. This is the race I am most excited about at the meeting. Galopin Des Champs. He would be my ITV7 selection, but I'm not going to back him. I'm actually going to back two. I'm going to back Statler and Noble Yates both each way. But Galopin Des Champs could easily be different class to this lot. He's looked very, very good. The question marks against his stamina have been answered this season because, one, he's much more settled. This is the genius of Willie Mullins. He was not a head case, but he was very keen last season. He's got him to drop his head, and he's so settled now in a race. It means he can get a Gold Cup trip. And then he goes to Leopardstown, and Townend couldn't pull him up. He ended up round by the reservoir down the far side. So I don't think stamina is going to be a problem. That's why I would have opposed him earlier in the season. But it's a Gold Cup. It's a good race. I love backing plodders in a Gold Cup. So my two bets will be Statler and Noble Yates, but ITV7 purposes, Galopin.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not going to be wildly different from Ed's view because I think Galopin Des Champs I think he's a superstar, to be honest. The way he was winning his race last year before coming down at the last, what he did in Ireland, as Ed say, not only past the line, but actually before the line. They didn't go that quick early on. There were sort of 6 horses in front of him. And I know that some people crabbed that because he didn't win by the 15 lengths we expected. But I think for him to win in the style he did, showed a lot of weapons in his armoury that perhaps, as Ed alluded to, we hadn't seen before. It's very unoriginal, and I'm sorry I can't be left field here, but I think Galopin Des Champs, and I'm going to say something probably a bit ridiculous, could go down in the annals of Gold Cup history as one of the best Gold Cup horses
Paisley
we've ever
Park's
seen.
my favourite horse of all time, and now
I think Galopin Des Champs, given his age, given his profile,
weren't we
I
saying
think
the same about Aplutar this time last year when he blew that Gold Cup apart?
Yeah. The Gold Cup is a race that takes a lot out of horses. We've seen that with Aplutar this year. If he stays sound, and Willie Mullins done it before with a dual winner in Albion Photo, Galopin Des Champs could go on to have that crown for a while, I think.
I completely agree with you too. I think you always want to try and take on a shorter prize in any race, but the Gold Cup, I think the best horses go on and win, don't they? And like you said, I was at the Dublin Racing Festival, and Paul Townend couldn't pull him up at all.
I was very surprised by that.
And I know a lot of people said, obviously, Fury Road was jumping the last, and if he didn't jump the last well, he might have been in trouble. He was never in trouble at all, and I think there's no question at all with that horse.
The one thing I would say about Brave Man's Game, a lot of people are saying that there's a Cheltenham factor where he might not love Cheltenham. I actually wouldn't put that as a reason to not side with him, because he actually ran he ran well for a long way behind Bob Ollinger.
That form worked out well, didn't it?
Well, but Bob Ollinger didn't go on. I mean, that race, as we've seen before, very good novices can come out, blitz up in novice races.
I'd like to see them do it. That's why I like Statler. He was so good last year. It was the 3 mile 6 race, but
I don't think it'll be Cheltenham that beats Brave Man's Game.
We know he loves Cheltenham.
Do you not worry with Statler and Noble Yates? I like them both, and I think they'll stay on. But do you not worry that quicker horses will be gone before the time?
Possibly. It's just the horse. It's the horse I like to back in a Gold Cup. Is a horse that I know is going to stay, and hopefully they'll go quick. And you need to be a freak to win a Gold Cup when you've got the speed of a Corto Star. And they're like, maybe Galopin Des Champs might be a freak, but
where's the pace? I know it's a big field. Royal Pagaille might make
possibly.
the race.
Senor might go off, mightn't he? In front.
True.
We never know what he's going to do.
But
We
yeah,
know your fate with him quite early.
Yeah, he'll make mistakes.
Yeah. But like you said, the Gold Cup this year, he's absolutely superb.
It's good, isn't it?
It's brilliant.
For me and our job, it's got stories as well. Really good stories in it.
Yeah. So, right, the last bit I want to cover with you two gents, because we could be all day discussing different races. I just want your naps, your nap of the festival, your lay of the festival, and your dark horse of the festival. So an each way selection. So, Ollie, we'll start with you on this one, please. I know you were struggling.
Pain-ridden my face is there.
I've got it. I'm confident.
Okay, Ed, you go first.
My lay of the meeting, and has been on the podcast I do for Sporting Life all season, is a Nergamine in the Champion Chase. And my dark horse is in the Albert Bartlett. I'll go for Stay Away Faye for Paul Nicholls, who's going to have a good week.
Lovely stuff. I think Stay Away Faye's got a big chance as well.
My dark horse will be another Paul Nicholls horse in the bumper, though, actually. I know that England don't have a great record in it, or Britain don't have a great record in it. But I think Captain Teague of Paul Nicholls is a nice horse. quite sort of humble beginnings, but Q Card sort of did a similar thing in winning at what would be considered a smaller track and then going on to win at Cheltenham. I think he's a very nice horse. So Captain Teague would be my dark horse. My nap would be Ballyadam. Now, I don't know which race Ballyadam's running in, either the Coral or the County. This horse has got a very good record at Cheltenham, is weighted to run well again. And wherever he goes, I expect him to run very well. And my lay will be... What was your lay?
Enogaman.
My lay is going to be Lossymouth in the Triumph because I think Blood Destiny will win that race.
Big though, because it's a good race between the two. No, but thank you both. I think if I was giving my naps...
Go on then.
Paisley Park.
No, I'll go
best
Mighty
Paisley.
Potter and the Turners.
Oh, I'm taking him on. I could have done him as my lay of the week, actually.
No,
Why are you taking... Why? Hang on.
He ran so badly last year. Course form.
I don't think it was anything to do with course form, but
Case for
that's
the
what his
defence,
is. I don't think it was anything to do with course form. He's matured this season. I know Banbridge is 2 out of 2. I think that's the only horse that can beat it. But I think by the time Banbridge gets his act together, Mighty Potter will be shooting up the hill.
If ever I've seen one. Cup of tea on this one. Now.
Lay, you won't like this Honeysuckle. I think Honeysuckle's the lay of the week. Look,
You're a horrible man.
I know, I'm horrible. I'm horrible. I would love Honeysuckle to win. It's a great story, but when you're having a go, you can't be sentimental. You got to take emotions out. And I just think that she's a 9-year-old now. She's not been the same horse this year, and maybe, like you say, the Brandy Loves are just creeping near to her level. And then my dark horse would be Happy Go Lucky in the Ultima.
Yeah.
I think he's got a really good chance.
Second in it last year.
Chase home
Yeah, he
Beauport.
won off 149, didn't he? Aintree's only 152 now. I think he's been saved all
He'll
season.
get a Kim Bailey loving.
He's putting cheek pieces on him
Lovely.
to try and eke out a bit of improvement.
Won't know which way Beauport's gone, but anyway.
Well, thank you,
Thank you.
lads,
Thank you. Good fun.
for all
Yeah,
your
very good
pointers and obviously answering all the questions that have been sent to you. Obviously, the ITV7, over £1 million
There we
up
are.
for grabs across the week. Simply enter via the ITV7 website
I got there.
or download the ITV7 app for your chance to get involved this year. Thanks for watching this special edition of TWE Meets, and all the best whatever everyone is back in at the 2023 Cheltenham Festival.